Hi there. Welcome back to Waxing On. It's Wednesday, and that means classic rock. And today we're going to go back and look at another festival. Not quite the same as episode 1 when we looked at Woodstock. This one is one that happened on the West Coast a couple of years before Woodstock and had a whole different feel and a whole different vibe to it than the East Coast concert did. And this isn't unusual. I mean, with jazz, we had the same thing. We had that hot bebop going on in the East with New York. West Coast, we had Jerry Mulligan and Chet Baker doing their pipe and slipper jazz, or what they call the West Coast jazz. A little more relaxed, but a whole different feel and a whole different style. The festival I'm looking at today is the Monterey Pop Festival. And this was back in the summer of, I guess, 1967. So a couple of years before Woodstock. And again, we're looking at the Monterey County Fairgrounds as their site for the West Coast one. And you're right on the ocean. You're in California. I mean, there's a whole different vibe there. Woodstock, upstate New York, Max Yasgur's farm, turned into a mud hole with the rain. A whole different feel to the venue, to the edge of the music, to the whole style of what was going on compared to the style of music that was happening on the West Coast. Now, this one occurred first, but Woodstock seemed to overshadow it. I'll give you an idea who's playing on this one. I mean, this is a great two-album set. And surprisingly, I may have picked this one up somewhere like at a Starbucks or somewhere else. One of those impulse buys right at the cash, because I certainly didn't go looking for it. I just happened on it. And when I saw the lineup, I thought, certainly wanted to check this out. So, let me see who we got on here now. Along Comes Mary by the Association. I got one song on there, and that's probably one of the main ones people would know that band from. Eric Burdon and the Animals. We've got Simon and Garfunkel. Big Brother and the Holding Company. And this was a couple of tunes from the Cheap Thrills era. Just when Joplin was finished playing with them, she did Down on Me and Ball and Chain. Let's just go back. I kind of skipped in there. Eric Burdon was doing San Francisco Nights. Simon and Garfunkel, Homeward Bound, Sounds of Silence. We had Country Joe and the Fish, not doing Feel Like I'm Fixing to Die Rag or the Fish Cheer, but doing a song called Section 43. Paul Butterfield Blues Band, Born in Chicago. We got the Electric Flag on here doing a song called Wime. The Byrds, Chimes of Freedom and You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star. So great having the Byrds in there. We got, of course, we're West Coast. We're Monterey, not far from San Francisco area. We got Jefferson Airplane with White Rabbit and Somebody to Love. Booker T and the MGs, who we talked about back, I'm going to say last summer or early last fall. Steve Cropper, Duck Dunn, backing them up. Booker T and the MGs on here doing a song called Bookerloo. This was another big one, Otis Redding, Shake and I've Been Loving You Too Long. Ravi Shankar, Laura Jones' father. He was big with the Beatles, making an appearance on here. Buffalo Springfield, For What It's Worth. We've got The Who, Summertime Blues, My Generation. And two from Hendrix, one of my favorites, Wind Cries Mary, and Like a Rolling Stone. Excuse me. I mean, Hendrix made a big hit with the Bob Dylan tune All Along the Watchtower, and we talked about that last week. Here he's doing Rolling Stone, and this concert, or this festival, was for Hendrix and for The Who, their first North American performances. Excuse me again. Mamas and the Papas doing Straight No Shooter and their classic California Dreamin'. And what would be more California or San Francisco than we've got Scott McKenzie doing San Francisco. Be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. Great lineup, a very unusual set of music compared to the Woodstock set. And you look at all the artists that performed, and this one was a very successful festival. And you wonder why. I'm looking at on here, I've got a list of, well, I'm trying to find it here now, the people that were actually on the board of directors, the founding board for the Monterey Pop Festival. I mean, just listen to this. We got Donovan, Mick Jagger, Paul McCartney, Roger McGuinn, Johnny Rivers, John Phillips, Smokey Robinson, Paul Simon and Brian Wilson. I mean, they couldn't have had more heavy hitters in here getting this festival organized. It wasn't like Woodstock where a bunch of guys get together and try to put a festival on and things got out of control. They got a lot of control in this one and a lot of very important people to try and help set this up. So worth checking out. If you enjoyed those festivals from the 60s, there's some great music on here from some bands you really didn't hear a lot about other than just in their own little circles. Mamas and the Papas is a great band. Now, no connection to Toronto in here, but we do have a Canadian connection in here because we've got one of the members of Mamas and the Papas, and I'm not going to tell you who it is right now, from Eastern Maritimes in Canada. Just saying. You never know where some of these performers are coming from. Okay, so that's it for today. A chance to explore a little music of the 60s, the West Coast feel of the Monterey Pop Festival. I don't know if this one is available. Again, I found it as an impulse buy, so I'm thinking it's probably one of those mass-produced, let me see, Razor and Tie records. But there's probably lots of work out there, or lots of material that you can find Monterey from. And just to quote one of my favorite actors, the vibe was beautiful. The music was fantastic. To me, that was the purest, most beautiful moment of the whole 60s trip. It seemed like everything had come to that moment. And if that could be continued, it would really have been Camelot. And that's from Dennis Hopper. How can you not trust Dennis Hopper, man? Monterey Pop Festival. Check it out. That's it for today. We'll be back on Friday. And this week we're going to do some classical music. So something a little different. Anyways, take care. We'll see you then. Thanks for stopping by.